Hello, everyone. Hello, from wherever you're watching. Welcome to the Ladies at Work series from the Moving Women Empowerment Network. And here we feature women who are making strides in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics field, the STEM fields. And I am Sarah. And today we have a very special guest. And this person, I am so full of joy to speak with her. I would start first by introducing her. She is a biomedical engineer and academic. She's the quiz mistress for the National Science and Maths Quiz in Ghana, her home country. Probably you would have been guessing if you're from Ghana. And if you're not from Ghana, this person has been a star on Ghanaian television as she hosts this quiz competition for schools. She is Professor Dr. Elsie Effah Kaufmann, and she holds a Bachelor of Science in Engineering, a Master of Science in Engineering, and PhD in Biomedical Engineering, and all from the University of Pennsylvania. She has published extensively and has received several awards in her country, Ghana, and internationally. She has received awards for her support and commitment to the STEM fields. She has just raised the bar. This month, she just raised the bar higher and smashed a glass ceiling for all of us by becoming the first female dean of the School of Engineering Sciences at the University of Ghana. We are very happy she made time to speak with us, and she took this time from a very busy schedule. We are very honored. First, before we continue, I would like to congratulate you, Professor, on your achievement on behalf of all the women and girls that are following us and all the women around the world globally. When a woman smashes the glass ceiling, all of us celebrate because we know what that means. Congratulations, ma.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you. It's a
Yeah.
pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you. We are really honored to have you today. And since this is such a great achievement, first, probably I would like to know how you felt when you received the news that you've been appointed as the first female dean of engineering in Ghana.
I think I got a message just this past Friday.
Mhm.
It was an email from the registrar of the university, another woman, who
Mm.
sent me that message that I had actually been selected. I had been appointed by the council of the university as incoming dean of engineering sciences. There was nothing female about it, by the way. It was later on that the news broke with all that noise.
We are
Yes.
always searching for that news where we say, oh, this one is representing all of us. I know it's such a huge task to say, oh, you're the first female, you're the first female. But how did you feel actually when you
Oh,
received the message?
it feels very good. It feels very good. I had applied for the job in January. I went for an interview. I had a really ambitious vision for the school. And so I have been preparing myself for this. It's been a while. I mean, I was a member of the team that set up this whole school, the School of Engineering Sciences at the University of Ghana. And
Wow.
so I have a very close to my heart, you know. I want
Yeah.
to do the best for the school. I want to make sure the school is visible, the school is doing all the right things. And so I have ideas for doing all these things. And I felt um, I think they've made a good choice with me because I'm going to work really hard.
I believe that too with all my heart. I believe that. It's not just because you are a woman, but it's because you're a woman of substance. You proved yourself time and again, and you are founding, as you just mentioned already, and I read about it, that you are actually a founding member of, and then you became the head of department of the engineering, and then
Yes,
biomedical engineer,
that's correct.
engineering department, and then now you are the dean, where we found out that you're the first woman to hold that position, which we are very happy about. As such a passionate person, in your field, you are very committed to this field. It's, I want to just take you back a little bit.
Mhm.
um did you already know that this was what you wanted to become, or you wanted to study engineering when you were growing up? Or how did it all started that you got into this field?
I was a very curious child, but I never thought about engineering. In fact, when I was in school, the teachers have a very big influence on what subjects we study and so on. When it was
Mhm.
time to pick the subject, I was put in the science class because I did well on an exam. And when you get into the science class, usually they are preparing you, and you're a good science student, they are preparing you to go to medical school to become a medical doctor.
Yeah.
Engineering did not did not feature in my plans at all.
Yeah.
Then I got a chance to go outside Ghana on
Mhm.
scholarship. I went to the United World College of the Atlantic in the UK.
Mhm.
And there, I was still preparing to go to medical school. I thought I would finish that and go to medical school and eventually become a doctor. But
Mhm.
when I was applying, when I decided to apply to universities, I decided to go to the US. And I was told that you don't go to medical school right away in the US. You must do a pre-med program. And that was when I started looking for something else to do. I didn't know what bioengineering was, nothing. I had no clue about it. But when I was reading the brochure, the prospectus for University of Pennsylvania, I saw this program that said bioengineering, and the description sounded good. It sounded like something you would do before going to medical school. So I decided to apply for it.
Okay.
And that's
Because it
how my
had
son,
bio in it, right? The
it had
bio
bio
was
in
like,
it. Yes, it had bio
yeah.
in it, and it said, uh, with that as a first degree, it's a very attractive program for pre-med students because they can easily get into medical school. That's what
Ah,
I was thinking. And I get
okay.
into engineering school, and I enjoyed what I was doing there so much, I decided to stay.
Yeah.
That's how it happened.
What is so enjoyable? Because sometimes we are hearing the name, some of us are not from the STEM fields. And
All right.
when you say biomedical engineering, what is that? What
Okay.
do
So
they do?
exactly. So it's the application of virtually all the sciences and engineering. So we use science, we use engineering, we use mathematics to solve problems in healthcare and biology. So you can
Uh-huh.
imagine that the scope is really broad.
Yeah.
So let me give you some examples. I myself, my training was in tissue engineering and biomaterials. So we are
Mhm.
using the knowledge of science, material science, trying to understand materials, chemistry, physics, right? To come up with body parts,
Okay.
replacement body parts, right?
So
So a problem in healthcare, when you need tissues, you need human body parts because they are diseased or damaged, and you need to replace this material. How can you use your knowledge of science and basically engineering?
Mhm.
We use principles in chemical engineering, for example, mechanical engineering, electrical
Oh,
engineering, to come up with
oh.
all these tissues
So can I
to
call
replace human body parts, right?
so can I okay. So can I call it the jollof dish of engineering field, or because it's using all these ingredients from the different engineering fields
Exactly.
to
And I
put it
didn't even
together?
finish telling you. I didn't even
Okay.
finish telling you. So
Yes,
you
please
see,
go on.
medical devices also.
Mhm.
We have another subspecialty in biomedical engineering where they design and build all the equipment that you find in the hospitals. That is actually is the most popular part of the biomedical engineering here in Ghana. And in fact, most of Africa, we are more into instrumentation, bioinstrumentation. So the doctors need the equipment to be able to diagnose disease and to treat disease. So the
Mm-hmm.
engineers that are responsible for coming up with those devices. And again, they will use all the knowledge in physics, chemistry, right?
Yeah.
And also knowledge of electrical engineering, electronics engineering, to come up with these medical devices that are used in the hospitals. Even
It's
the hospital building, biomedical engineers design and build those as well. So they will be working with architects, right?
mm-hmm. Yep.
Deciding which equipment goes into the hospital,
Yep.
deciding how the room should be organized, the hospital ward should be organized. All of this is biomedical engineering. So yes,
Wow.
we are like the jack of all trades of the engineers. What we have in common is we are solving problems in biology and in healthcare, but we
Which
use all the various types of engineering, all the sciences and mathematics to do that job.
wow. It's
Yes,
it's 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 what how you explain it like this, Professor. It's like it's this field that we really need in on the continent. I mean, the African
absolutely.
continent needs more and more of biomedical engineers.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because every hospital really should have a biomedical engineering team. When you have a biomedical engineering team in place, they are responsible basically for making sure that all the technology that is used in that hospital is properly maintained and deployed, right? They can
Yeah.
even, the biomedical engineers can support the doctors and the other professionals in the hospital in the work that they do by giving advice, by giving technical support to
Mhm.
them, to the various teams, right? So
Yeah.
every hospital really should have a biomedical engineering team. Unfortunately, that's not where we are now. We are in the
Yeah.
process of training more and more biomedical engineers on the continent. And by the way, my program here at the University of Ghana was one of the first undergraduate programs on the
Wow.
continent. Yes,
Wow.
yes, yes.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
That was really that's a really good one. And I listened to one of your TED talks where it was in 2018. It's quite a while ago, but probably it's still relevant today, where you spoke about you asking whether the engineers in your department, or whether people are ready to receive the equipment that would be done by engineers in your country, Ghana, or let's just say Africa as a whole. And they were asking you, how are we sure? Or they were really skeptical
Exactly.
about these ones.
Yes.
And has it changed at all? That's people are accepting that we can also produce our own equipment and innovate.
Hmm. It hasn't changed to the extent that I would like to see. But what I can say is that there's a whole lot more awareness now. You know, there's a whole lot of more awareness. People know about us. In the early days, our program started with students in 2004. That was when we got our first batch of students, and that batch of students graduated in 2008. Was our first locally trained biomedical engineers.
Wow.
And yes, and they didn't know about us. Even in the hospitals, we would go to a hospital and they knew nothing about us. They didn't know what purpose we would serve. And that
Wow.
there's a whole lot of difference now. Now we have many of the bigger hospitals with biomedical engineering teams. So it's progress. It's progress. And I've also been doing a lot of talking, as you found my TEDx talk.
Yeah.
I have been talking about it. And
Yeah.
so there is interest, there is interest in innovation. There is a lot of talk about STEM now in Ghana. A lot of people trying to get more practical experiences so that they can come up with products that are actually useful. But we have a long way to go still, because there's still the importation culture. It's easier to import something that has been produced elsewhere than to develop it from scratch. But if we are
Yeah.
able to practice and do this, eventually we will produce products that are better suited to our own circumstances, because we understand our context instead of just importing something that has been developed for a different setting.
Yeah,
Yes. So
because
I'm
that is
hopeful. I
very
continue to be
important.
hopeful.
That's why people like you are important on the continent. And one of the questions I had was like there are a lot of other people that are starting across the globe, Africans, young Africans, talented Africans, and you are an example of someone who went out, who got the knowledge, and you came back and implemented it, and it is see how it's growing, and what a role model for a lot of people. But what motivated you to come back to Ghana after spending almost 10 years? You spent almost 10 years doing all or more than a decade outside before you decided to go back.
Yes, I spent a lot of time outside. My education alone took more than the 10 years. So I
Yeah.
left after O levels. I left after O levels, and I spent 2 years in the UK at UWC Atlantic. And
Mhm.
after that, I went to University of Pennsylvania. First 4 years, right, in the
Yeah.
undergraduate program. 1 year in the masters, and then 4 more years in the PhD program. And then afterwards, I did a postdoc for 3 years
Oh.
before coming
Oh,
home to Ghana.
okay.
So I
I
was
didn't
I was
get it.
out there for a long time. Yes,
Yes.
but the whole time I was out there, the plan was to come back home eventually, because when I got a chance to leave Ghana, as I told you, I left on scholarship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the terms of the scholarship, and I did take everything very, very seriously, the way I was brought up by my parents, especially my father: if you make a promise, you keep it. That was the simple rule. And so
That's great.
when I was leaving, I remember being told clearly that the purpose of the scholarship is for you to go out there, go get the experience, then eventually you must come back home and make a difference. I took that really seriously. So I left on a promise to come back and make a difference. At the time, I didn't know what
Wow.
that difference was going to be. I had
Wow.
no idea what it was going to be. But
Wow.
as time went on, I began to find what that difference was going to be for me. And it has been in education, especially STEM education. Yes.
Wow.
So I left
Very
on a promise, and I was going to keep my promise. It was just a matter of what time to come back and do what I had to come and do. Yes.
amazing. You came and you came big. You came there and and started the engineering department there. And also one of the things that you are known for in Ghana is you are the mistress of we cannot talk about all what you're doing without mentioning that you are raising a whole generation that would become interested. Hopefully they'll go on to study in the STEM fields, and you've been doing that since 2006. why
That's
did you
right.
ac- why did you accept to become a quiz mistress? I mean, everyone will be afraid of you.
No, you see that I'm not that scary after all, right? I'm not that scary at all.
Well, we are just afraid that you will bring up some questions right now.
Oh, not today, not today.
Okay.
Yeah, so Sarah, I actually was not watching the program when I was invited to be part of the team.
Yeah.
I didn't watch much TV. I didn't know anything about the program. I was just doing my work. I came back to Ghana. I was in the Department of Physics. By the way, I was the first woman to be appointed full time to that department, to University
So
of Ghana Department of
the
Physics.
first are lining up now. The firsts are
Oh yeah,
lining
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I am always doing new things,
A woman
pioneering
of
things.
many firsts. That's good.
Uh-huh. So
Mhm.
I was in the Department of Physics, doing my work as passionately as I always do my work, when my head of department called me and asked me if I would be interested in joining a team to do the National Science and Math quiz. I didn't know what it was. So I told him, well, I have to know what it is first. And so I remember being invited to get onto the set to see the quiz mistress then, who was getting ready to leave for her PhD. That's why a vacancy
Ah.
had been announced, right? So I went to see her doing the program, and then during her break, I went to meet her and to talk about it. And she asked me if I could do it, and I said, yes, I've seen what you are doing. I think I can do it.
Oh.
And that was it. that, that was
That
it.
was
I had to learn very quickly,
yeah.
because the following year, this was in 2005, and then a few months later, I had to meet the the subject consultants on the program, meet with them to find out what they do, learn how I was going to organize
Mhm.
myself to be able to do it. I remember watching a couple of videos, and that was it. That was just thrown in there, and I went for it.
But you're doing so excellent. I don't know how I missed that. And it's on the internet that people, if you can, just go and watch those quizzes and see how scary Professor Kaufman is. No,
Kaufmann.
really,
No,
I'm
really,
just
I'm just
kidding.
kidding.
Um, the,
Um,
the thing about it is, these are programs that helps the young generation. How important are such programs in terms of supporting or in terms of encouraging young people to go into STEM fields? Because Africa, we've clearly seen that we are still lagging behind when it comes to the STEM fields. And for countries to develop, for continents to develop, we need people, especially in these fields. Of course, other fields are really important, but these are some of the main fields that help in development. How important is this? Because there are some countries on the continent that do not have such programs. Probably they could learn from your experience in Ghana.
Absolutely. I think this program has been, it's I don't even know how to describe it. Um, you have to see it to know what it's about. I
Yeah.
mean, it's amazing because Ghanaians are so passionate about this program. Do you know that young students in basic school, they start targeting which secondary school they will go to just so that they can be members of the team?
Wow.
One of the objectives of the program is to demystify science and to make it attractive to everybody. And I think the program is doing it, because what happens then is that these young people, even from that age, start to follow science. They are excited about it. They want to be part of the teams that come up there. They study really hard to get into the best schools for science. And
Wow.
then when they get a chance, they show up on stage to show what they can do. And there is support even from the whole country. When the month-long program, when we have the national competition, everything comes to a standstill in Ghana.
Yeah. Wow.
Everybody is watching this
Amazing.
program. They have support for various teams. And so it makes a huge impact on the visibility of science, the popularization of science, making people want to do science. Of course, we have a lot more work to do, because if you watch my TEDx show, we still have issues with making the science practical. But at least,
Yes.
at the very least, people are thinking about science. People want to do science because they see programs like this.
Yeah.
Now, another thing the program does is we actually direct the teaching of concepts. So the consultant team sometimes decides. I remember some years we decide on a topic like significant figures.
Mhm.
It's our theme for the year. We will set questions around it.
Wow.
And in the beginning, you see that the teachers, the students, they will all complain because they are getting the answers wrongly.
Yeah.
But by the time they show up the following year, they have all learned how to do these things. So we are
Wow.
able to direct the study of certain topics
Hmm.
in science and math by doing this program.
Yeah. This
And
is
that, I
amazing.
think, is very powerful. And if you
It is.
watch consistently the common exams that we take, the West African Exams Council
Yeah.
exams that we take, all of West Africa, if you
Mhm.
check about the performance of our students, especially the ones that participate in this program, sometimes they don't even get on stage with me at the nationals, but they are preparing even for the regional competitions and so on. They study so hard. You can see that they have a better performance.
Yeah. Which is
Uh-huh.
very good. It's a motivation for them. They are being
Exactly.
motivated to go into that. And I am just curious about the girls and their participation.
Yes. It has been a challenge for us all these years. The program has been running for 29 years. We have never had a girls' school being the champions, not yet. This is a
Oh.
sore point for us. It's a really sore point for us. They have been to the finals. The girls' schools have been to the finals, And just last year, I'm sure if you have been watching, you saw that we had a young lady, but it was
Yeah.
a mixed school. It was not a girls' school. She was in a mixed school. And every time I see
Brilliant.
a girl on stage for a mixed school, I congratulate the mixed school because they have a
Yes.
tendency, even the mixed schools have a tendency of fielding just the young men. So
Yeah.
when a young lady is fielded like that, we make a lot of noise about it and we congratulate the schools. So the young ladies are participating, but not to the same extent, and they certainly don't go as far in the competition as we would like to see. There are
And
certain barriers that they are faced with, and I think we need to look into that and find ways of uh, putting these barriers aside.
And we need to talk about this too, because unfortunately, I think there are a lot of myths around the STEM fields, especially engineering,
Mhm.
probably maths, and technology. All of them actually. That's People are still thinking, or some people unfortunately still think it's a men's field.
Yeah.
And
Yes, it's
probably
unfortunate.
would you say this is one of the reasons why that it's something that is coming from the homes, or the society, or our belief systems, or what we think about girls?
Yes, it's hard to envision something different if that is what you have seen all of your life, you see. And so we have not had many examples in these fields that we mentioned, the physical sciences and also engineering. In biological sciences, it's no lie. I'm not seeing too big a problem in biological sciences and medical sciences these days. There are a lot of women
Okay.
there who are
Okay.
doing very well. Yes. But we still have this challenge in the physical, mathematical, and then engineering
Okay.
sciences. And it's it's a challenge, yes, of mindset. It's a challenge of expectations. It's a challenge of really representation. Because if you have not seen the examples, you don't have the role models in those areas. It's difficult to envision yourself doing some of these subjects.
Yeah.
So if in your department, in engineering, for example, there's no woman there, and you're a woman in that department, to envision yourself even becoming a lecturer
Yeah.
or to envision yourself becoming a dean like me when you've never seen one,
Yeah.
it's a little bit more difficult. Yes.
Yeah.
But I think the more work we do to change this mindset, to have more examples, to have people talking about their lives, expectations being equal. So if a woman, a young lady wants to do these subjects, they should be encouraged and
Yeah.
not to have the expectation that no, these subjects are too difficult or it takes too long to get a degree in them. And so do something easier. Or even
Yeah.
when you are there, oh, you're a woman, so don't put as much effort into it. No, no, we need to stop all of those things because we are
Yeah.
just as capable. It's just a matter of nurturing and making sure that we have the right environment to help us reach our best potential.
Yeah, and that is one of the reasons why we are doing these features on
Yes.
our platforms, to change the mindset, to also to project the spotlight on women who have been doing, who are in these fields, so that young girls, so that other women would see that it is possible. Others are successful in it; they can also do it. And how has it been for you? I mean, the time you became an engineer, I think those were those days when you started. It's very interesting that you look so young, and I found that you are 53 or 52, around your
Yes,
age, and
yes. In September, I'll
amazing.
be 53. Yeah.
Amazing. You'll be 53 this year. And those
Yes.
times when you were studying, I'm sure that there were those times when it's really, when you say a woman is doing engineering, everybody's looking. How has it been for you throughout the years?
Yes, there are certain people who find it unusual. So they will
Yeah.
see me and be surprised that, you are actually in engineering, you are an engineer. They are surprised.
Yeah.
But no, I never really made time to limit myself. I was usually too busy thinking about how to move on and solve my problems and
Yeah.
do something important. I did not sit down to reflect.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of the time I would go to certain places, I would be the only woman there.
And
um,
how did it feel? Or did you never, like, it never crossed your mind that I am the first one or I am the one that's coming in here? Was there anything that helped you throughout this period?
what helped me was to have my objectives, my goals and objectives very clear in my mind. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I knew what I wanted to do. And once I decide on what I want to do, it's very difficult to deter me from doing it, right? And
Yeah,
so I'm not going to look around me, see that I'm the only woman, and let that stop me. No, that is not going to stop me. In fact, that encourages me to do my best. And then also, what I also do is to try and bring up other women behind me so that next time I will not be the only one. You
mentorship
see,
is quite important.
exactly.
Mentoring
Mentorship
others.
is extremely important. It's extremely important because if you don't like the feeling of being the only one, then you must bring up others to join you. And
Definitely.
this year already, I have been on two panel discussions. I have to say this. I've been on two panel discussions when I have been a panelist with my own students, two
Oh,
females.
wow.
Yes,
Wow.
and it's beginning to happen. It's beginning to happen. It makes me feel really, really good.
This is
Uh-huh.
nice. This is
Yes,
nice. I mean, the
yes,
work is paying off, and it's amazing that you can be alive and you see it and you're enjoying it, and you're like, oh, this was my student too. And,
yes, yes,
we are on a panel together. It feels good.
exactly,
Happy,
exactly.
happy, and I know that you have a lot of plans. You are a woman who has been achieving so much, but we would like to know how you see yourself in the next years to come. You start your position in August, and you have plans. But what are your aspirations for the future?
Oh, a lot of things coming up. I'm actually going to be launching a foundation very soon, even before August.
Great,
Yes. And
great.
this foundation is going to be a change-making foundation. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. It's around education. I'm looking at students. I'm looking at teachers. I'm looking at the general public.
Hmm.
Increasing scientific knowledge in the general public, and then
Hmm.
also in industry. In
Hmm.
industry.
Okay.
So it's going to be really exciting for me. It's going to be a busy time as well. So I see myself doing many different projects to bring up STEM education, first in
Yeah.
Ghana and then, of course, Africa.
Yes,
This
please
is
don't
my
forget
target.
everyone else. I know Ghana is such a beautiful land, and I know that's where your heart is. But don't forget, every one of us, we are there. We look forward to this, yeah, to your foundation, and we'll be
Yes,
very happy to host you again whenever you are gonna when after you've launched it and when you start your project, or probably who knows, there will be some things that come up that we can partner in. And
yes,
probably before we start wrapping up, we I thought that as a role model, you would have something to say, especially to women and girls, on why it's important, or why STEM fields are very good for them as women, but as people.
yes.
Probably there are also
Okay.
men. Let's not leave them out because they always
Yes.
say, oh, we just do our thing. But I mean, STEM as a whole, why is it important? Especially for people from Africa or from people on the continent. Why is it important for our communities, our societies? Why should they be interested in this field?
Okay. So STEM in particular,
Hmm.
participating in STEM. trains you to be a problem solver. And Sarah, I know you believe that we have enough problems on our continent, right?
Yes.
Uh-huh. We have plenty of problems. And so if there is a discipline that is training you to have a certain way of thinking, a certain way of approaching problems, a certain way of coming up with solutions that address the problems that are identified, then we have to support it. We have to support it because nobody is going to come and solve our problems for us. We
Mm-hmm.
have to do the hard work. We have to do the heavy lifting to solve the problems that we see around us. If we want to change the world, there's nothing better than STEM training to help you to change the world, because what it does for you is to help you to clearly see what you are confronted with, to strategize on how you can approach the problem that you have seen, to use the resources that are available to you, and good thinking and problem solving skills to come up with solutions to the problems that have been disturbing us all these years. And so we can't do without it. We cannot do without it. We need to start thinking about ourselves and how to deal with the realities of our lives.
Yeah.
Yes.
And is it the same message you have for the stakeholders, the governments and the people that are creating policies that needs to be changed in order to change to reform our educational systems in Africa? Because clearly, as we see, and as I've heard some of your talks and in your interviews, that it's not working what we have.
Yes. And so for those who are in a position to make a difference, maybe first an understanding of what it is will help. If you cannot identify with it, it is difficult to make policies or take actions that will benefit any of us, right? So
Hmm.
we have to do more advocacy. Those of us in the STEM fields, we have to do more advocacy to try and bring general understanding, which is why I'm going to target this as one of my areas in my foundation, right? To
Yeah.
raise the level of STEM understanding in our general population. After all, we are the same ones that become people in positions of power, right?
Yeah.
That can actually make a difference. But so if we understood what the power of science and math and technology can do for us, maybe it will change the way we do our things. That's first point. Next
Hmm.
thing is really, I don't even know, I don't even know how to approach this aspect. It is so important to identify what we are trying to achieve. If we have outcomes that we can measure, then we can prioritize to achieve those outcomes. But what I see a lot of the time is decisions being made anyhow without any regard for the outcome that we want to achieve. If you make um, um, plans, if you just plan to do activities without any target, you'll be
Yeah.
very busy doing all sorts of things, but you will not
Yeah.
achieve the
Check
objective
it.
that you need to achieve. And so
Yeah.
I'm pleading with all of us, especially those in positions of power who make the policies and so on. Let's come up
Hmm.
with measurable outcomes
Hmm.
so that we can check to see whether we're making progress or not.
Yeah.
Let's not be quick to change something just because it's a political thing. I'm now in political power, and so this is what I want to do without recourse to research,
Yeah.
to see what the existing thing does and whether it's successful or not.
Hmm.
Let's make our decisions based on evidence and scrutiny before we proceed and do many of these activities. Just throwing money at the problem is not going to solve it, but we need to
No.
prioritize
Yeah.
what exactly is the problem, what are we trying to achieve, and what should we do in order to achieve the outcome that we want to see. That is what I want all of us to do. And
Yeah.
let's hold people accountable too. Let's hold
Yeah.
people accountable. If people are being held accountable, they will be more ready to do what is right.
Yeah. Um, that's those are hard words, and we are happy that you're saying it, because this you're saying what most people watching or most people who are on the continent, or even Africans that are globally, how they think. And this is how we think. And we do hope that they are listening, the people that are there at the moment, the ones that will come after them and after them. And we will do the right things and they will do the
Yeah,
right things. And what, before we go, probably, what legacy would you like to leave as the dean? When you at the end of your tenure, we are planning things. I know you have a lot of work in front of you, but
I
what
do.
would be your something that you would do, that you would say, yes, this is what I wanted to do and I am satisfied that this is the legacy I want to leave behind.
Okay. So by the time I am done, what I would like to see is you mention the name School of Engineering Sciences, University of Ghana. All of you will know about it because it will be a powerhouse of engineering education on our continent, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you come to the school, you should see vibrant activity, student innovators, professors teaching, right?
Yeah.
And coming up with tangible products, commercial products actually coming out of our
Mm-hmm.
university, out of the work of these new innovators that we're going to be bringing up. Yes.
Yeah, so I like the innovation part. We need that,
Yeah.
and I am sure that it will trickle down to West Africa and the rest of the continent. We are really, really excited and to have hosted you today, Professor Dr. Elsie Effah Kaufmann, who is a biomedical engineer, an academic, and she's the revered and loved at the same time quiz mistress for the National Science and Maths quiz in Ghana. And she just became the dean of engineering in the School of Engineering Sciences in our home country, Ghana. And we'll be speaking a lot about her work and about herself and about what we think the continent needs. And probably before we go, you have one last word to the women that are watching and to the ones that are looking up to you as a role model. All of us are actually. And I am included in that. Uh, so, yeah, what would you say to us about how
Okay.
to get to where we want to? Success, how to succeed in our professional career in our chosen professional fields. This is
Okay.
general, whether it's in biomedical engineering, whether
Mm.
it's in in medicine or in journalism, whatever field they are in.
Okay. So if you are a young woman or an older woman, any woman who is listening to me, first of all, decide what success looks like for you. We don't all have the same objectives or the same aspirations in life. So decide, what does success look like for you? Make a plan and systematically follow the plan. You will have to work hard. You have to make sacrifices, but it's all worth it. Work really hard. Do your very best, and it is possible. It is possible. And so please, um, this is what I have to say. Do not reinvent the wheel. There have been people where you want to go. Find those people and listen and learn and keep going. Keep going. It is possible. Thank you.
And it is possible. It is really possible. Thank you so very much for taking your time to speak with us. We do hope that we will have another time with you and where we will speak about some other topics, whether it's your foundation. And if you have been watching us from wherever, you can Google her, you can check her videos on YouTube. She has very tangible points that she's making on the educational system in Ghana, and which is also relatable to the African continent. You will learn some things from what she's doing, and just keep applauding her. We are very proud of her achievements as the very first dean of the Faculty of Engineering. It's the Faculty of Engineering in the engineering school in Ghana. And if you please share this video, like this video, follow us on our platforms. It has been the Ladies at Work series from the Moving Women Empowerment Network. You can follow us on all the social media and on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and you can also check our website, which is www.moving-woman.com, where you will get all the stories on women that are doing things in their different fields. And of course, you will get the story also as text if you could not follow us. But till next time, thank you very much, Professor, once more. Until next time, when we meet again, to everyone, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. All the best. And remember to stay empowered. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.